What was the worst gift you received for Christmas? My grandmother was a piece of work. One year myself and my two cousins were at her house for Christmas morning. All the family was there and there was a big gorgeous pile of presents wrapped in the corner. Me and my cousins, were promptly told that those gifts were for the other grandchildren. When we gave our grandma the blank stare of confused children, she hurried back into her room, threw an old Ziploc bag down at the ground between us, full of half-used nail polish and broken jewelry, and told us Merry Christmas. Sounds like my dad's last stepmom. She had tiers of children and grandchildren. My dad and all his children were always firmly at the bottom. My grandma hated my mom because she liked my dad's first wife better, therefore my sister and I were treated like crap. She never once pronounced or spelled my name correctly. One year, she gave all my cousins and my half-sister a huge pile each, and my full sister and I got gloves. My mom finally flipped her shit and threatened to stop allowing my sister and I to go there for Christmas, and that's when my grandpa stepped in and decided every kid would just be handed $50 and that would be the end of it. Book about how to take criticism, gifted by my mother-in-law. This seems like an easy one to throw back in her face. Let me critique your gift giving ability. Re-gift it to her for her birthday, or Christmas, or Mother's Day. Better yet, at the next holiday, return the favor by giving her a book like Overcoming Passive Aggression, How to Stop Hidden Anger from Spoiling Your Relationships, Career, and Happiness. Growing up, my mom was either amazing at holidays, birthdays, etc., or scary. One year, when I was about 13, she was particularly scary. We didn't have a tree, no decorations were up, nothing. We were all too afraid to say anything, in case one of us set her off, until my dad got pissed at her, went and bought a tree, and told us to decorate it however we wanted. He helped us with the lights and star, while my mom sulked in her room. Christmas Eve came, and under the tree were these large bulky looking presents. We were all excited to open them, because we got one present to open Christmas Eve and we knew there was no way those were pajamas. We all opened them excited to find huge lumps of coal. My youngest siblings began to cry. My dad sent all of us downstairs to watch Christmas movies on TV and locked himself and my mom in their bedroom. It was muffled, but that is honestly the only time I remember my dad ever screaming at my mother. Afterward he came downstairs and calmed my younger siblings down, reassured them that they had been good and Santa would still come. After the kids had gone to bed, my dad called me upstairs and asked me to help him wrap all the presents, except mine. The next morning my mom was up early, made us cinnamon rolls, hers are the best I've ever had, and acted as if nothing had happened. I don't know exactly what my dad said, but she was never that bad again, even though there were a few times she came close. Years later, she finally agreed to see someone about it, and they diagnosed her as manic depressive. The doctor said that stress had triggered her, and honestly that had been a stressful year for our family. Since she was treated, she's been the most amazing mother and grandmother ever, and it makes me sad she didn't get help sooner. We would have had the most amazing childhoods, and luckily my nephews and nieces got to have this version of my mom, instead of what we had. XGF gave me book on the history of gunpowder. I admit I enjoyed it as it was an interesting read. Problem was, I had already read it 2 months prior, because she had already given me a copy as my birthday gift. My BFF got 3 copies of a book, because I 100% forgot I bought it for her. It was on a subject she is interested in, and I have memory problems. The funny thing is, she wasn't gonna tell me after the second one. I found the first one in her room like a week later and was horrified. I got her a different book and traded, and then bought it a third time because it had a new cover. She did tell me that time, just because she thought it was hilarious. Again, I traded it out for a new book. But now I generally make her send me a wish list and just pick something off that for her. I grew up really poor and received some batteries for an old toy car I already had lol. Looking back at it, it's kinda funny, but I remember crying when that happened. I was 7. My dad would always wrap any required batteries for presents separately. He'd also decide what order we opened things in and always had us open the battery presents first, with no idea what they would go to. Thanks for reminding me of a quirky memory. A bundle of industrial grade deodorant. I think I would have preferred a punch to the face. Sorry, industrial grade kills 100% of bacteria instead of 99.99% and can also be used to refine pig iron. When I was in 6th grade in 1995, my parents got me a CD case. I didn't have any CDs. I got a knockoff Discman one year. I didn't own any CDs. Why would you have CDs already if you didn't have anything to play them with? I'm going to answer for my sister. When I was about 5, making her 9, our uncle/aunt/cousin family asked me what my sister liked. I had no idea. All I knew was she liked to yell at me. So I dumbly replied she liked hair ties. For Christmas that year, my sister received an assortment of an insanely high number, like 200 different high ties, scrunches, etc. She didn't let me live that down for a long time. Lol, what is it about family discovering one detail about a kid and making out like it's their biggest passion? I used to have an ornithologist come to speak with our class once a fortnight because our primary school teacher was really into birds. So I learned a lot about birds. Except I wasn't really into birds, but my parents told everybody how cute it is that I know so much about birds. For the next couple of birthdays and Christmases, all I got was bird books. So many books about birds. It's been 20 years, and I still absolutely hate birds. My non-favorite grandparents once gave me a Peter Parker doll when I was like 17. I mean a doll too. I could undress him if I so pleased. He didn't come with a Spidey costume either, haha. I would want to undress Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland. Years back, my cousin bought me a rifle case. I had never owned a gun nor expressed interest in it. Just an empty rifle case. A gun rack. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack. What am I gonna do with the gun rack? You know, Wayne, if you're not careful, you're going to lose me. I lost you 2 months ago. We broke up. Are you mental? Get the net. When I still lived with my parents, they got me a Cards Against Humanity deck. Right after I opened it, they told me I'm not allowed to play it until I turned 18. I was 15 at the time. Probably didn't think it was that bad until they started reading it. I'm not ready to explain to this kid who Samuel L. Jackson is. My mom rarely cared what gift we might actually want or what our personal tastes were, and most often she would select a gift based on her own personal tastes. In the late 80s, she decided to buy me a stereo as the main/large gift for whatever reason, and she selected a Fisher-Price, the children's toy brand, turntable, record player. This is after CD players were invented, and of course nobody played records anymore. The worst part was that she decided to treat this stereo as some sophisticated equipment that was too good for a child to play with, so after Christmas she stored it in its original box in our attic, where it has remained until this day. It was supposed to just be stored there until some arbitrary time, but my mom is a huge procrastinator and that time never came. I'm still salty that she wasted all the money on that stupid gift rather than on something I might have enjoyed and actually got to use. I got an empty box of a toy I really wanted. I was 9. Wow, that's seriously terrible. You okay now? It was an accident, so I'm good, thank you. My mom was mortified. Someone must have stolen the toy, put the empty box back on the shelf, and my mom was the unlucky buyer. A couple years ago, my dad registered me to see a few of my favorite shows taped in New York City. I got super excited about it, but then realized that he wouldn't be paying for anything and expected me to stay with my narcissistic grandma in New Jersey, who I avoid as much as possible. Then I found out that not only were the tickets to see the tapings free, but he had already told my grandma I'd be staying with her, and she had all sorts of yard work and stuff ready for me to do for her once I arrived. Obviously, I didn't go, and my dad is still bitter that I didn't appreciate his gift. My grandma also has plenty of yard work and tech stuff to do for her as well, but she also shovels delicious food down my throat and tries to sneak money into my backpack or wallet. She also asks a million times if I'm tired and need to stop when I'm doing the work. My mom took me to her boyfriend's family Christmas party in rural Michigan once. Someone gave me the year in Clemson football. 1993. It was very nice that someone thought enough to give me a gift, but 9-year-old me really struggled with the logic behind the purchase. He's a kid. Kids like football, right? Ye old backup gift. Something random you buy and wrap to give just in case someone shows up at your door during the holidays you weren't expecting. An ancient Michigan tradition. When I was 15, I really wanted a dog. My mom knew this. Cue Christmas morning. After we had opened any other presents, my mom came back with one last one. It was a wrapped box with holes in the sides, bouncing/moving some, and puppy barks of cuteness. I got so excited to open it and meet my new best friend. When I opened it, it had a stuffed animal puppy, not taxidermized, a bumbleball toy, and a small tape recorder with puppy barks. My heart sank, and I just sat there and cried. My divorced parents pooled their money to buy me a Gamma Boy Color. The problem was they'd already got me a Gamma Boy Color, but I guess they didn't understand that it was the same one and thought it was new. They both looked so excited as I opened it, I didn't have the heart to tell them. So I just kept playing my one game on my new Game Boy Color. That my one game felt like a punch to gut. My sympathies, but also kudos to you for sparing your parents' feelings. How old were you? My parents got me an acoustic guitar one Christmas. Problem: my brother was the one who asked for a guitar, not me. So essentially my Christmas present was seeing my brother absolutely gutted. Meanwhile I had to pretend I was happy. Awkward. Update: I shared the guitar with my brother while I pretended to enjoy learning to play it. This lasted for about a month before I let my bro completely take over the guitar. He got his own electric guitar that same year for his birthday, took guitar lessons, joined a band, the whole shebang. He still plays to this day, 17 years later. Me. I hate playing guitar. Hurts my fingers. Did he at least end up using the guitar? So I have 2 brothers, and one year my older brother begged for one of those ripstick skateboards. He starts opening his gifts. No skateboard. Then my younger brother opens this big box with his name on it and finds a brand new ripstick. My older brother, like 12 at the time, lost it, saying how unfair it was that was all he wanted, but my younger brother got it instead, until my mom goes behind the tree and pulls out another large box with my older brother's name with, you guessed it, another ripstick. Apparently they were supposed to open it at the same time, but my parents didn't notice which box my younger brother grabbed. From an outside view though, the whole thing was absolutely hilarious once the big reveal happened. Every year, my grandma would send me clothing for a 6-year-old. Seems like the concept of my brother and I actually growing escaped her after a few years of this. My mom got tired of her wasting her money on this and told her to just send my mom the money and she would buy the gift. Just send a card. The end. Thanks for watching.